That's where we're headed next. Number 4, Florida State, beating Miami 27-20. This game was all over the map, right? Because I'm not really watching this game because I don't think Miami's any good. And I know at the start of the game that Tyler Van Dyke was benched in favor of Emory Williams, who looks unlike any Emory Williams that I've ever met in my life, but apparently was a player because they wanted to go with Emory Williams over the guy that was completing 66% of his passes and had thrown for 2,000 yards already this year because he would absolutely take care of the football. Like Shannon Dawson was like, we can't have the picks that Tyler Van Dyke has been throwing and expect to win football games. He's got a point because we're talking about a Miami offense that had 11 turnovers in 4 games because Tyler Van Dyke was the quarterback. That can't happen. But I'm also looking at this going, Florida State's at home. It's a Miami team that is not as good as their 6-3 record would suggest. I expect Florida State to do, well, what I expect any number 4 ranked team to do against an unranked opponent and throttle them, and they could not do that. Once again, we had to wait to start the show because we were unsure about how Florida State and Miami would end. Now, I've been saying all year, the way that many of y'all think about Michigan is the way I think about Florida State. I don't think they played anybody. I don't think they're that good. I think that it could be another 2014 Florida State where they run through the ACC, win the ACC title, go undefeated, and then get stomped down by Oregon or whatever the college football playoff selection committee has them playing that game. I just don't think they're that good, but they find ways to win. So I got to give them that much credit. But do you think that Florida State is a better football team than Washington is a very good question. I don't. I think Washington continues to build a better resume because the schedule is broken out that way, but also they beat the teams that they're supposed to beat. And some of their close wins look even better now because Arizona turns out to be really good, guys. Meanwhile, who is Miami? Miami is a team that lost to Georgia Tech. You know what I'm saying? The second best team in the ACC is Louisville, who was in a dogfight with Virginia. And Virginia ain't no good. Now, that said, Jeff Brom might actually end up walking away with the Coach of the Year award. But you get my point here. There's nothing about Florida State that tells me you got a Heisman winner in Jordan Travis or a Blitnikoff Award winner in Keon Coleman. There's nothing about what Mike Norvell is doing right now that has me believing that he's a Coach of the Year candidate just on how they've had to win these games. You're at home. You're in Tallahassee. You got people doing the chop. But you are in a one-score game against a Miami team that would not even start its best quarterback. Because why? I don't understand. If Florida State expects me to take them seriously, they need to beat Miami by 3 touchdowns. They need to do to Miami what Alabama did to Kentucky. You know what I'm saying? I need Florida State to be better than we win every game because, again, that's the barrier for entry into this thing called the college football playoff. We want perfection. That's the bar. After that, we want domination. Okay? That's why Michigan's the number 1 team in the country to me. They are dominating who they play. They will absolutely sit on your chest and you will not be able to move. Can Florida State do that? Or is it the same team that needs to come from behind against the Duke team that lost its starting quarterback and was losing to that Duke team when the starting quarterback was on the field on one leg? Is it the same Florida State team that was tied against Miami with the backup quarterback at Miami at home? Right? I just don't see it. So please tell me in the comments whether or not I'm wrong about this. But I don't see it. Until Florida State starts stomping people out in what is a watered-down ACC, where we got Clemson, who might end up get 8 wins this year, not being great. What do you want me to do here? Like, I thought maybe North Carolina would show us something, but they lose to Georgia Tech and Virginia. We're looking at a Louisville team we didn't think was able to be good, but their only losses get somehow against Pitt, who's awful. This is not helping Florida State's case. That's the whole point there. But if you're looking at Florida State undefeated, and they win an ACC title, and you look at a Georgia team that walks into the SEC title undefeated but loses to Alabama, who are you putting in? Florida State or Georgia? It's Georgia. You ain't got to lie. You got to go to church tomorrow, so don't lie, all right? Don't repeat something you got to do tomorrow because you know damn well you would expect Georgia to get in that spot before undefeated Florida State, and Florida State would have a bone to pick, but there's nothing about the eye test that says they pass it. If you like what you've seen, consider subscribing to the #1 college football show on YouTube, the Fox Sports app, or wherever you get your podcast.